Hi, my name's Andrew, and I'm here today at Tahoe Mountain Sports to introduce the Oakley 2014 Snow Goggle Collection.
The three selling points that we're going to be talking about today is high definition optics, lens superiority, and then all-day comfort. High definition optics. What that is, it's a patented lens taper technology exclusive to Oakley. So you think about sunglasses or goggles back in the day. It uses this material, it's called Lexan. It's very flat. Basically, as you curve a lens, that distorts light, right? Which, when you're looking through a lens for 8-10 hours a day, however long you're out there, your brain is constantly compensating for that light distortion, which leads to eye strain and headaches. Like, you get people that complain about wearing sunglasses or wearing goggles because, oh, it gives me a headache. They think it's because something's pinching. It's not. It's basically from lower end lenses. So what we started doing is tapering the lens so it's thinner at the edges and thicker right in front of your eye, which allows light to pass through at its natural angle, creating the most optically correct eyewear lens in the world. Okay, and that's in everything that you'll be carrying except for the O2 goggle. Lens superiority. So there's a lot to this. We're going to be going over 6 points. Lens material is called Plutonite, UV protection, polarized technology, impact protection, Iridium coatings. So what Plutonite is it's the clearest, strongest polycarbonate in the world, and it's exclusive to Oakley. This is what separates us from other brands for a couple reasons. We basically take the highest polycarbonate available, and all of our sunglasses and goggles are polycarbonate. Nothing we make is glass. And we basically filter it one extra time to eliminate all impurities. We're the only company that rates our product to ANSI Z87.1 standard for safety eyewear. It's a government standard for safety eyewear on like construction jobs. And that's where we're going to go into these tests. So it's a 2-part impact test, a 1/4-inch steel ball shot from 1 foot away at 380 feet per second, 15 times. And that's actually what you'll see with this lens here. So the lens isn't allowed to crack, shatter. It's basically on a mannequin head so you can see if anything goes through. This is what separates an Oakley lens from any sort of glass lens. Glass will shatter, and that's why we don't use glass lenses in any of our products. The next test is what separates Oakley's polycarbonate from anybody else's. This is called the high mass test, and it's a 1-pound metal spike dropped from 5 feet directly on the lens. And that's what separates Plutonite from other companies' lens material, because we're the only company that passes this standard for every piece of eyewear. UV protection is a big one. Plutonite inherently protects against UV. It's not a coating. And the major benefit there, a lot of other goggle companies will use UV coatings on their goggles. And the problem with that is once that lens scratches, your eye is now no longer protected from UV. And because it's behind the lens, it's relaxed, it's dilated, and it's actually getting blasted with UV. So it's more harmful than not wearing anything at all. Basically with these goggles, it doesn't matter how scratched the lens becomes, your eye is still protected from the entire UV spectrum, A, B, C, and that's aging, burning, and cancer. Different types of UV, as well as harmful blue light. Do you know what polarized light is? The common name for it is surface glare. It's basically light reflecting off a surface, changes the direction of the light wave, and it's just inconvenient light to look at. Polarized light isn't harmful. It's kind of a major talking point, especially with goggles, because you'll get the customer that only wants polarized. And if you guys don't have polarized goggles in stock, like, it can be kind of hard to tell them that. But for one, the main places where polarized light exists: pavement, water, and ice. So dealing with polarized goggles on a ski slope, I actually prefer to know where ice is, so I don't really use polarized lenses. That said, there's only one polarized filter in the world. Every company, from your $5 sunglass at a gas station to, you know, a $250 Oakley goggle, will use the same polarized filter. Difference being how we manufacture the lens. So every other company in the world uses what's called sandwich technology. A lot of companies brag about it. It's your lens material, all the filters with glue in between, smushed together. Oakley has a patented process called infusion molding, where basically we inject our polycarbonate around the polarized filter to create a lens that's a single layer. Because basically with sandwich technology, you have to use glue, right? Glues distort light, and that takes away from the overall optical clarity of the lens. So infusion molding allows a single layer lens with no glue to maintain the clearest, most optically correct lens in the world. Next, iridium coatings. So we got the full spectrum here. And to show you guys the difference, iridium coatings do three things. They increase contrast, they make the lens darker, and they help to absorb glare. So when I talk about iridium, this is the same lens. One is iridium coated. It's that kind of bluish sheen that you see in the lens. You know, a lot of companies out there use them. What separates Oakley's iridium coating from everybody else, we bond our coating on a molecular level. The coating won't scratch off. Like growing up on the East Coast, I had a ton of experience like riding through snow guns and stuff. I had a pair of goggles, went to wipe the snow off my goggle, and the iridium coating came right off with it. Not going to mention the name of that brand, but super disappointed. The point is that won't happen with an Oakley goggle, and if it does, it's a warranty issue, and customers get a new lens, so that's kind of rad. And finally, all Oakley lenses, all Oakley goggle lenses are still made and manufactured right in Southern California here in the USA. We're employing Americans, we're paying American wages. We don't outsource goggle lenses overseas. It's a manufacturer control issue. It's basically the best lens that you can buy. So for goggles, we're going with comfort and AntiFog. Discussing fit with Oakley goggles. We design all our goggles these days to integrate with helmets. And there's a couple things. One is called an outrigger. This basically brings the strap out and around to accommodate a better helmet fit. You know, you think about, you take a goggle like this. This is called O2. It's kind of our new price point goggle. You think about this strap being attached directly at the side, and what that has to do to go around the helmet, it's going to stress the frame, right? By bringing the strap out and around, you can ensure a good fit without actually putting any stress on the goggle. Next, on the inside of every strap of every goggle we make is silicone beading. Major benefit there is once you put that goggle on your helmet, it stays in place. Doesn't shift around, and it's actually kind of cool because you can still manipulate them on the forehead. Like goggles without it, I've had it where I try to put them up on the front of my helmet, they pop right off the back. The nice thing about this is it grips, it stays in place. Finally, venting and actually just the shape of our goggles. We engineer all our goggles pretty flat on the top to ensure good helmet fit. This is called air brake. It's compatible with 98% of the helmets on the market. I think there were 2 helmets from Giro that it didn't work with. Always good to have your customer try them on to make sure it will work. But the nice thing, we vent our goggles throughout all the frame. Sides, top, bottom, and the front. So even if you do have a good helmet fit, your anti-fog is not compromised. So Oakley goggles are the best non-fogging goggle in the world, and people will buy it just for that reason. We talked about venting. The other major thing is we use what's called an F3 anti-fog coating. It's 3 times the industry standard for absorbing moisture. It's the best performing anti-fog in the industry. What's really important, you tell your customers whenever they do buy an Oakley goggle, or just any goggle in general, because this is across the board for everyone, you never want to wipe the inside of a goggle when it's wet. If you do get snow in a goggle, the best thing to do is shake it out and actually use a cloth to blot dry as opposed to wiping. Because anti-fogs work by absorbing moisture, they become very vulnerable when there's a lot of moisture inside, and they can actually smear. If you do that, the lens is ruined, they have to buy a new one. It's not a warranty issue, unfortunately, and it's just kind of how it is. But that's all goggles. Ours is a lot more sensitive to it just because it absorbs so much moisture. So make sure you kind of give that speech whenever you sell a pair of Oakleys.
Thanks for listening today, and if you need any more information on Oakley products, go to TahoeMountainsports.com.